Hey everyone, how are you doing today? I hope that you're having an absolutely wonderful day. It is frigid here where I live. How's the weather where you guys are living? There's lots of crazy weather going on all over the world, it seems. So tell me, how's the weather where you're living? Today I am going to be drinking, I really wanted a super cozy black tea. It's like one of those days like I wanted a rich black tea. So I pulled out one of my favorites. I don't let myself drink it very often. It's from Verdant Tea and it's called Yulu Yan Cha. And you guys have probably heard me talk before about how much I love black teas with chocolate notes. This is one of those teas. The aroma is so cocoa-y and it's just a treat tea to me. I just love this one. So today we're going to be talking about the low-buy type project I'm putting myself on for this year. So for the past couple of years, every January I have started off with my low-buy video where I have laid forth the budget I was putting for myself, and by spring I had blown it and basically abandoned the project. So obviously a sort of budget project doesn't work for me, and I was just watching Little Miss Lipstick, I can link her video down below, talking about this very same issue, and I very much identify with what she was saying. Both of us are in the fortunate position where the budgeting isn't because we have to necessarily budget. Neither of us spend outside our means on makeup. We're both very careful not to do that. But it was just more of an arbitrary number that we would choose, like, I think this is a reasonable amount of money I could spend on makeup. This is what I'm gonna choose. And then we would just blow it. So I'm going to be starting what has been termed a beauty bank. I'm not the first one to have done this. I definitely was completely inspired by It's Just Steph and Emily from Emily and Max. I'll also link them down below. So if you're interested in this type of content, definitely check them out. I think they've been doing this type of content for at least a couple of years. So the whole premise of it is you give yourself points, and every time you buy a beauty product, you lose a point. And whenever you use up a product, you gain a point or a half a point, depending on the rules that you set for yourself. Everyone gives themselves their own different set of rules for what works for them. So here's my rules. Let's start off with first the amount of points I'm going to be giving to myself. So at first, when trying to figure this out, I looked at how many products I used up last year, which was 41. I was really proud of that number. And then I also want to give myself a half a point for eyeshadows that I hit pan in. I hit pan on 25 eyeshadows last year, so that would put me over 50 points. So I decided not to do that route. I feel like that would just give me too many points to work with. So I think I'm just gonna go with 35. That's not as strict as some others give themselves, and yet I feel like for me, I'm not trying to be super strict. I'm just trying to limit myself going crazy buying all sorts of things, especially with places like TJ Maxx and Ross, places like that where it's very easy to buy a bunch of things for very little money. So, that was often the problem, by the way, with the budgeting. I would try and fit as many products as possible into my little budget. So it often, even if I did go within my budget, I was still buying a lot of things because, I don't know, I had this mentality of, I've allotted myself this much money, I'm gonna spend it as many things as possible. This way, I'm limiting the actual amount of things that come in. So I feel like this is hopefully gonna work better for me. So like I said, I'm gonna give myself 35 points to start with. Every time I use up a product that is listed on my makeup inventory spreadsheet, I will give myself 1 point back into my beauty bank. And whenever I hit pan in an eyeshadow, I will give myself half a point. This way I'm rewarding myself for panning through my collection and yet still not going ham buying all the things. There are specific categories where I am on a no buy. I'm not going to be buying any mascara. If you saw my makeup inventory video, I have enough mascara. Not going to be buying setting sprays. Same thing with that category. I have way too many currently, so I don't see myself needing to buy anything of those. Lip balms, I don't see myself needing to buy. I have enough of those, and I'm probably going to be using up a lot of my lip oils this year as lip balm, so don't need to buy lip balm. And then there's other categories where I'm putting myself on what I would consider a low buy, but kind of a flexible low buy, because these are areas that I like to try new things in. So restricting myself, it just causes great sadness, and then I eventually fail. So I'm not going to give myself too strict roles in these areas, just trying to be more mindful. So one is lip products. Last year I tried to do the whole use one up and then allow myself to get a new one type deal. That seemed to work okay. I was trying to use up 2 buy one. That was a little more difficult, much more difficult, but I was actually really happy with how much lip product I used up last year. So I'm gonna try to do the whole use one, allow myself to get a new one for lip products. And then when it comes to eyeshadow palettes, I'm feeling very, very content with my eyeshadow palette collection. I have a lot of them. If you saw my makeup inventory video, I have 34 of them, and while there are one or two in the back of my mind that I would like to have, I can generally talk myself out of eyeshadow palettes just looking at the collection that I have. But I know myself, I know that at a certain point that's going to get really hard. So I'm giving myself extra impetus, which I did mention in my inventory video, what I'm going to do. So if I can manage to avoid buying eyeshadow palettes for the majority of the year, I'm going to allow myself to pick up a luxury eyeshadow palette that I have been wanting from Pat McGrath. Pat McGrath is so expensive, but I feel I could either buy like 5 eyeshadow palettes or a Pat McGrath palette, just because Pat McGrath is so expensive. So this year I'm going to try and forsake buying 5 cheaper palettes and let myself get the one more expensive one. The one I'm going to dangle like a carrot reward in front of me is the Divine Rose palette. I've actually had a really hard time resisting buying that palette because it has been on sale several times this fall. And I'm just like, no, wait till next year. Reward yourself next year. It's been kind of hard. So far, I've managed to avoid just doing it. So I'm actually very proud of myself, a little pat on my back there. But anyway, so that's for eyeshadow palettes. As far as items coming into my collection and counting for or against my beauty bank, I'm not going to count gifts as against my beauty bank. I didn't pick them out myself, so I'm not going to count that as against my beauty bank. I mean, my channel's not big enough to get PR, but if that ever happened, I guess I would count that as like a gift. I wouldn't count it against my beauty bank. Same with skincare. It's not in my beauty inventory, and I don't generally have a problem with buying too much skincare anyway, but since skincare in general not going to be counted against my beauty bank. Also, I'm allowing myself a small handful of times a year to buy something specifically to review on my channel, even if it's not something I necessarily would have gone out and picked out myself. I do like to strategically pick items to review on my channel. I did do it a small handful of times last year, and it really helped my channel grow. So I still want to do that. I still want to help my channel to grow, but I don't expect to do that a ton. Again, I'm going to try to be very strategic with the items that I buy specifically for review. Those specific items I'm not going to count towards my beauty bank. The beauty bank for me is more about like my desired items. A lot of the things that I decide to buy are not new. Things that I have seen reviews on for years that I really want to try. So that's my thinking in regards to my beauty bank versus products for reviewing on my channel. I hope all of that made sense. At the beginning of February, I will have an update on how I did in the month of January. So far I'm doing good, but it's only been, a few days. So we'll see how I go. If you're also doing any sort of low buy or beauty bank project, make sure to let us all know down below what your plans are, what your strategy is for keeping yourself from buying all the things this year. And thank you guys so much for following along on my channel. I really, really appreciate your support. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you. I hope you all are staying warm and cozy. I realize if you're in Florida or like a tropical area watching this, that might make you laugh, but right now where I live is so cold. That's what I'm thinking about. I hope everyone stays warm and cozy in their homes. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'll see you very soon in my next video. Bye.